Hey guys and gals, welcome to another video from Mr. GM Fan. Well, today we got something pretty interesting. This is a baling safety video that John Deere used to give away to their customers in the late 80s, early 90s. So basically it's going over round baler safety as well as some of the new product features they were offering in that time period. So please sit back, enjoy the video. Please comment. I love reading your comments and chiming in with my own stories. Again, God bless and have a great evening.
I've been baling hay for probably 8 to 9 years. I knew not to leave the machine running. I just stepped off, reached to flip a little rock out. There's safety warnings everywhere. Tells you never reach up there, always cut your machine off. But I had done it 1,000 times. I tried to get away one more time. And I got caught. It pulled my right arm all the way between two big rollers. And it kept pulling me until I was up all the way into my shoulder. But I was lucky. My wife and my boy happened to be coming out that day to bring me a sandwich. I told him to turn the machine off. I'd been in there approximately 11 to 15 minutes. We know the safety, but we think, well, why? It won't take me but a minute. It won't take me but a second. But I took that second one day.
Every year, accidents like David Tomlin's kill or seriously injure farm equipment operators. Almost all these accidents could have been prevented if operators had followed some important safety practices. Practices you must follow when making or moving round bales. Let's look first at what David Tomlin could have done. Don't take chances. Always disengage the PTO and shut off the tractor engine before you dismount. A running baler is potentially dangerous, so keep others away when the baler is running. Always disengage the PTO and shut off the tractor engine to lubricate the baler. Always disengage the PTO and shut off the tractor engine to find the cause of any problems with the baler. If your baler has compression rolls, this is doubly important. Compression rolls were used on many round balers manufactured between 1971 and 1982. When they are turning, compression rolls are very aggressive. They're designed to grab and pull material into the chamber. If you get your hand or a piece of clothing down where the rolls or pickup teeth can catch, it's too late for you to do anything about it. The rolls will grab your arm. Never go near the pickup area with the tractor running. Always disengage the PTO and shut off the tractor engine. Don't take chances. You can prevent many accidents by having your equipment in good working condition. Replace parts that are not functioning properly. If you need to get into the baler, raise the gate, disengage the PTO, and shut off the tractor engine. Place the gate position stop on the gate lift cylinder before getting between the machine and the raised gate. Always. A baler with missing teeth won't feed properly, which can lead to a plugged machine. So replace all broken or worn parts. Replace compression rolls that are not in good condition so they can feed. Keep all shields in place. They are there for your safety. And replace any that are worn, damaged, or missing. Be prepared for a fire. Keep a fully charged water-type fire extinguisher on your baler. Check it frequently to be sure it's operable and has not lost its charge. And leave all riders at home. Baling is not child's play. Another serious safety mistake is feeding the twine by hand.
We were baling bean stubble. I took the tractor and the baler out to the field and began rolling up some bales, and on the first bale I encountered some difficulties with the twine system. I left the tractor running and the baler running, got off the tractor and walked back to find out what was happening. As I approached the baler, something happened. I was on the ground and my right arm was pulled into the baler. Many times we've done something for such a long time and you begin to lose awareness of what that piece of machinery can actually do.
Often operators think their quick reactions can protect them. Even with the tractor at idle, twine moves faster than you can react. You are in the compression rolls. That's why it's important to make sure twine is properly threaded and that the twine arm is correctly adjusted and in good working order. Don't take chances. Thoroughly read your operator's manual before you start baling. And be sure any new operators read it before making their first bale. If you don't have an operator's manual, see your machinery dealer or contact the baler manufacturer to get a copy. If you work on hillsides, you need to take special precautions. Set the bale so the bale faces down the hill and will not roll. Never try to stop a rolling bale even with a tractor. A moving round bale can cause serious damage to you, your equipment, and your property. Know your limitations and those of your baler. Many accidents happen when operators are tired and field conditions are poor. Damp crop, rocks, and stumps all make plugging more likely. Don't take chances. If you're tired or baling is difficult, quit or take a break. Handling round bales can be dangerous. It results in crippling injuries to operators every year. To prevent these accidents, you first need to know you have the right equipment. Be sure your loader and tractor are properly matched and they are big enough to handle the weight and size of bales you have. Answers to these questions can be found in your loader operator's manual. Be sure you have one. This weight distribution of the round bale also affects the tractor's stability. So be sure tractor tread width and weight are set to give maximum stability. One of the most serious bale moving accidents is rollback. Never move bales with a loader bucket that is not equipped with a grapple. The grapple holds the bale in the bucket so it can't roll down the loader arms. Another way to move round bales is with a bale fork. Always put the bale fork into the middle of the bale so you have the most control. When transporting round bales, it's important to remember low and slow to prevent rollover. Lifting a bale greatly affects the center of gravity of the tractor and loader. The higher the center of gravity and the faster you drive, the easier it is for the tractor to roll over. Always transport with a tractor equipped with a rollover protective structure and wear the seat belt. When moving a bale on a hillside, approach the bale from the downhill side. Never drive across the side of a hill with a bale. And remember, low and slow to prevent rollover. Unfortunately, it may take a painful accident for operators to remember proper round baler practices, but not everyone gets a second chance. Safety is no accident. So let's recap some of the important points we've learned about making and handling round bales. Always disengage the PTO and shut off the tractor engine before trying to unplug, lubricate, or locate any possible problem with the baler. Remember, shut off before you get off. Always disengage the PTO and shut off the tractor engine. Never put your hands near the rotating compression rolls. The rolls can catch you. You may lose an arm or your life. Don't bale when you're tired or conditions are tough. Accidents are more likely when you are tired or frustrated. When moving round bales with a loader, always use a round bale grapple to prevent rollback, or use a bale fork stuck into the middle of the bale. In transport, remember low and slow. And on hillsides, drive up and down rather than across the slope. Read and understand all the information in your operator manuals. It's the guide to proper equipment operation. And heed all safety decals. Accidents are forever, so don't take chances.
This is a large round bale, up to 1,700 pounds of nutritious, compact, weather-resistant hay, all wrapped in a single package. In recent farming history, This fast, efficient, and economical method of hay harvesting has gained wide acceptance. John Deere offers two machines for the production of round bales. The 510 to make bales up to 1,700 pounds, and the 410 for bales up to 850 pounds. Both machines are capable of producing superior bales in the hands of a knowledgeable operator. The purpose of this film is to demonstrate the tips and techniques that will help you consistently produce high-quality large round bales. A John Deere large round baler is a carefully designed machine. Like most equipment, best results are obtained by becoming thoroughly familiar with its operation and adjustments. Before making the first bale, read and make sure you understand all the information in the operator's manual. You can save hours of frustrating trial and error operation by taking time to properly set up your tractor and baler. Begin preparing the tractor by setting out both front and rear wheels to avoid driving on the windrow. The correct drawbar setting for a 540 RPM PTO tractor is 14 inches from the end of the PTO shaft to the hitch pin hole. Slide the equal angle hitch onto the drawbar and secure the hitch pin with the spring locking pin. Turn in the bolts to center the hitch. Then lock the bolts with jam nuts. Attach the baler to the equal angle hitch and secure it with the pin. Completely remove the jack and store it. Next, attach the power guard hookup to the PTO shaft. Pull the collar back and push the button to lock it in position. Slide the collar on the shaft until it locks. Then pull back firmly to make sure it's seated. Complete the hookup by attaching the hydraulic lines. The equal angle hitch is furnished as standard equipment on all John Deere large round balers. Do not operate without it. This hitch is designed so that even in the tightest of turns, the universal joint angles remain equal, greatly reducing noise, vibration, and bearing failure. If you must run your baler empty, raise the gate so the upper and lower belts are not in contact. These belts move in opposite directions and can be damaged by running against each other. This is especially true with a new machine because the belts are clean and the rubber surface has more grip. Here's another tip. Mount a watertight fire extinguisher on the baler. And remember, check its condition often. Bale density is controlled by adjusting the tension of the upper belts. 3 tension settings are available to cover most haying conditions. Density is increased as the springs are moved to the rear. Lower belt tension should be checked each day. These belts tend to shrink and can become too tight. To set proper tension, turn the adjusting nut. The tension is correct when this washer is centered in the sight hole. Secure the adjustment with the jam nut. Proper inflation is essential for long tire life. Check pressure frequently to maintain the recommended 28 pounds per square inch setting. With the machine checked out and correctly adjusted, let's look at several other items that directly affect performance. Good crop preparation will eliminate many troublesome baling problems. One of the most important considerations is the width of the windrow. In heavy hay or difficult drying conditions, you may want to make the windrows as wide as the bale chamber, but no wider. For most other crop conditions, reduce the windrow to 1/2 the width of the bale chamber or less. Remember, many bale forming problems are the direct result of baling windrows larger than 1/2 the width of the bale chamber. To produce firm, compact bales that weather well, be sure to check the moisture content of the crop before baling. Hay that is either too wet or too dry may cause baling problems. Moisture content should always be less than 25% to prevent spoilage and possible damage to rollers and belts, with 20 to 25% the ideal range. Always transport the baler with the pickup in a fully raised position. Once in the field, adjust the pickup to run as high off the ground as possible and still gather all the hay in the windrow. To prevent damage to the baler, make sure the gate is securely locked each time it is closed. The latch indicator is visible from the tractor seat and should be checked at the start of each bale. Starting a bale in a wide windrow is a simple procedure. First, engage the PTO. Set the tractor to run between 4 and 6 miles per hour. Drive straight ahead, keeping the tractor centered over the windrow. It's a good idea to ease into the windrow. By starting slowly, the incoming hay has a chance to spread out evenly across the bale chamber. This uniform distribution of the hay aids in forming a tight, compact core. Windrows that are too wide for the machine to handle are a common cause of baling problems. The hay may spill over the end of the pickup and be missed entirely, reducing overall efficiency by adding cleanup trips. But even worse, the full charge of material can enter the bale chamber in such a mass that it squeezes past the belts, making it impossible to form a proper core. This problem can also be caused by attempting to bale wet hay. The forming of a large round bale is actually a manufacturing process. This is especially true when gathering narrow windrows, windrows less than half the width of the bale chamber. The operator weaves the baler from side to side across the windrow, distributing the hay evenly over the bale. This is not a difficult maneuver, but it requires the operator to be constantly aware of the size and shape of the bale. Let's examine the correct starting procedure when working with narrow windrows. Start by feeding the windrow into the center of the bale chamber. Then immediately drive to one side and then to the other. This action will spread the hay across the bale chamber to form an even core. In the field, this maneuver is very easy to perform. It's more a matter of timing than driver skill. The movement from side to side must be done quickly. Once the core is formed, the operator should feed alternate sides of the baler for longer periods of time. Move rapidly across the windrow. This fast action will prevent overloading the center of the bale. Always use the edge of the windrow as a driving guide. This will force the hay against the side sheets, producing bales with dense, compact ends. There's an alternate method of starting a bale that works well in half-width windrows. First, rotate the pickup until the lower teeth are in a vertical position. Then move forward, pushing the hay over the pickup until it's spread out the full width of the bale chamber. Engage the PTO and begin feeding the accumulated hay into the machine. The material enters across the full width of the bale chamber, easily forming the core. Once the core is formed, move to the edge of the windrow and proceed to build the bale using the normal weaving pattern. Don't try to start a bale by entering the windrow at an angle. In certain haying conditions, we know this approach will work, but it's not a reliable starting method. Here's why. The incoming mass of hay is forced between the side sheets and outer belts. These belts are pushed over each other toward the center of the machine, allowing the hay to curl around behind them. Unless the baler is shut down immediately, the belts may be damaged. In fact, most damaged belts can be traced to improper starting procedures. For example, feeding one side of the machine only and failing to weave may form a partial core. The outer belts become slack, crossing over each other, eventually causing lace failure. Feeding either side without weaving will produce the same kind of problem. As an operator, it's important to recognize these conditions as they develop. Get in the habit of looking back frequently to check the operation of the baler. Any unusual belt movement or shifting from the normal tracking path is a sign of trouble. Stop the machine immediately and locate the difficulty. Feeding the center only and failure to weave across the windrow will produce the same kind of poor results. A partial core is formed in the center of the bale chamber. The outer belts go slack and fall away toward the ends of the core. Again, this condition is easily recognized from the operator's position. Attempting to bale wet hay is a common cause of starting problems. In these moist conditions, hay will sometimes wrap around the rolls, causing the machine to plug. Don't take chances with a plugged machine. Disengage the PTO and shut off the engine. To unplug the machine, use an open-end wrench and manually turn the rolls. If the wrapping continues, the hay is simply too wet or too tough to bale. Starting a bale with the PTO speed too high may cause the hay to feed back over the compression roll and be thrown out the front. Reduce the RPM or apply a light coating of high-gloss lacquer to the rolls. To prevent damage to the baler, always make sure the gate is locked before starting a bale. Get in the habit of checking the latch indicator each time the gate is closed. It's possible to jam the latch mechanism with loose hay, preventing the gate from locking properly. Here, for example, we have deliberately plugged the latch, and the indicator clearly shows the unlocked condition. The operator starts the bale without difficulty. However, as the bale is formed, its increased size forces the gate to creep open. When this happens, the incoming hay is no longer added to the bale, but instead is carried through the machine and thrown out the rear. Eventually, the bale will stop turning, a sure sign of trouble. The operator must stop the machine, discharge the half-formed bale without wrapping, and then go back to the gate to see what's wrong. Remember, never leave the tractor without disengaging all power and shutting off the engine. Be sure to set the gate stop in the locked-out position before entering the gate area. Then clear out the accumulated material from the bale chamber and gate latches. As we mentioned earlier, the operation of a round baler is really a manufacturing process, a process totally under the control of the operator. How effectively the operator handles the various elements of the system will determine the product quality and overall production efficiency. For example, by learning to weave properly, the operator will consistently produce high-quality bales. Your increased skill will automatically eliminate many common problems that are really operational errors, rather than the fault of the machine. Cone-shaped bales are the result of feeding too much hay to one side of the machine, a common operating error. In practice, the operator didn't weave at all or spent too much time on one side of the windrow. As a result, a cone-shaped bale is formed. The belts on the small end of the cone are loose and may be damaged unless more hay is added to remove the slack. Slack belts do not track properly. This unusual movement is the operator's signal to add more hay to the slack side of the bale. Barrel-shaped bales are also the result of poor driving habits. Continuous weaving, or not weaving far enough to pack the ends of the bale chamber, adds more hay to the center of the bale. Inside the machine, we find the outer belts are slack. More hay is needed at the ends to level it out. But remember, even if this bale is corrected, its weather resistance will not be as good as a properly made bale. Bales this far out of shape are the result of poor technique. Again, the operator failed to notice the telltale belt movement indicating the development of slack. Excessive turning speed will tend to throw off material at the ends of the bale or between the upper belts. This problem usually occurs when conditions are dry. The loose material can wedge between the belts and belt guides, causing splice failure. Inside the bale chamber, the problem is the same. Material builds up along the side sheets under the bale. To eliminate this problem, simply reduce the PTO speed to make the bale turn slower. If necessary, shift up to maintain ground speed. The baler is equipped with a bale size indicator. When used properly, all baling operations should stop soon after the letter P is fully exposed. Never overfill the baler. Overfilling will allow the idler arms to contact the upper rolls, creating excessive belt tension, bearing wear, and splice failures. The machine is furnished with an interlock device that prevents overfilling by disengaging the pickup automatically. To adjust this pickup drive release, first make a bale large enough to move the idler arm to within 2 inches of the upper roll. Then set the pickup drive to release at this point and secure with the lock nut. With a full-size bale in the machine, you're now ready to start the twine wrapping procedure. Begin by feeding in more hay. Then release the twine arm so the twine is carried into the bale chamber with the last of the material. After the twine arm has reached the travel limit, continue holding the hydraulic lever to the rear for about 3 turns of the bale. Then move the lever forward to return the twine arm. Stop the arm at this end of the bale long enough to make 3 more wraps. Again, move the lever forward to cut off the twine. The wrapped bale is now ready to be discharged. The return speed of the twine arm can be adjusted by means of this flow control valve. Slow the twine arm speed to produce more wraps. By using an alternate method of control, the operator can apply as many wraps as necessary. Simply bump the lever to index the arm. Remember, it's extremely important to feed the twine into the machine with a small amount of hay to prevent the twine from wrapping around the rolls. The hydraulic selector control valve is used on tractors having only one hydraulic outlet. This control valve allows selection of the 2 hydraulic functions, the twine arm and gate operation. Bale ejection is completely controlled by the operator from the tractor seat. First, stop the PTO and back the tractor 8 or 10 feet away from the windrow. Open the gate only after making sure the ejection area is clear. Pull forward before closing the gate to avoid hitting the bale. Next, check the latch indicator. Then engage the PTO and start the next bale. An alternate method eliminates the step of backing away from the windrow. With the gate raised to clear the bale, move forward, pushing the hay over the pickup. Then check the gate latch. Engage the PTO and start the new bale. To prevent damage to the lower belts, never eject a bale with the PTO engaged. Round bales can roll and cause damage. When working in hilly country, always eject the bale crosswise on the slope to prevent the bale from rolling downhill. The combination of rubber and fabric belts are specifically designed for long, trouble-free service. If, however, a splice fails, on-the-spot repair is a simple matter. Before doing any work on the belts, it's necessary to remove the belt tension. First, set the gate stop. Then insert the lockout pins. Now lower the gate to the second stop position. The lockout pins support the idler arm, causing the belts to become slack. If it ever becomes necessary to replace the entire belt, Make the new belt approximately 3 inches longer than the old one. This extra length is needed because the belts tend to shrink with age. In most cases, there is no need to replace the entire belt. Simply replace the damaged section by splicing in a new piece of material. With a sharp knife against a straight edge, trim the belt square, then cut the corners at an angle. With the belt lacing tool held in a vise, insert the package of hooks and pin them in place. Remove the protective wrapper from the hooks. Watch your fingers. The hooks are sharp. Insert the end of the belt and tighten the vise to start the hooks through the belting material. To completely crimp the laces, use the special tool provided in the lacing kit. When installing the new section, make sure to bend the pins a full 90 degrees.